My name is Pote Gangaram, Assistant Professor at Department of Commerce, Arts and Commerce College, Kadipur, Taluka Gangaram, District Sangli. This college is affiliated to Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Today's in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, UGC Mission Malviya Teachers Training Center online refresher course in teachers learning outcome in educational reforms. My topic is today's micro teaching is inclusive education. Next the content of topic: introduction, concept, meaning, principle of inclusive education, benefit of inclusive education, national education policy on inclusive education. Next, inclusive education refer to an approach to teaching and learning that value diversity and promote the full participation of students, that embrace diversity and ensure all students, regardless of their ability, background, or needs, have equal opportunity to learn in a supportive environment that goes beyond the physical presence in a classroom, focusing on meaningful participation, equity, and access of every learner. Next. Inclusive education. The inclusive education is to enable all students to reach their full potential, develop socially and academically, and become active participation in their communities. For inclusive education, special planning can be done in mainstream education, like as special infrastructure, special design classes, and special curriculum. Next. Inclusive education. Definition of inclusive education. Inclusive education can be defined as the process of increasing the participation of students in the culture, curricula, and communities of local mainstream school. In the simple meaning, inclusive education means where children with and without disabilities participate and learn together in the same class. Next one. Inclusive education. The concept of inclusive education, it includes all the students who are away from the education for any reason, like physically or mentally challenged, economically, socially, belonging to any backward caste. Next. Inclusive education. In the inclusive education is to enable all students to reach their full potential, develop socially and academically, and become active participants in their communities. For inclusive education, special planning can be done in mainstream education, like special infrastructure, special design classes, special curriculum. Principle of inclusive education. The first principle is principle of diversity and equity. Valuing and celebrating diversity, promoting equity, and addressing barriers to learning. The second principle is principle of access and participation. Ensuring all students have access to quality education and can participate fully in learning activities. The third principle is principle of support and accommodation, providing necessary support and accommodation to meet individual student needs. The fourth principle is principle of inclusive curriculum, developing curricula that reflect diverse perspective, experience, and culture. These are the principles of inclusive education. Benefit of inclusive education. The first benefit is improve academic outcome. Inclusive education can lead to better academic outcome for all students The third benefit is preparation for real world. Preparing students for an increasingly diverse and globalized world. These are the challenges of inclusive education. First challenge is teacher training. Providing teacher with training and support to effectively implement inclusive practices. Second challenge is resource allocation. Allocating resources to support students with diverse needs. And third challenge is creating inclusive environment such as fostering inclusive school, culture and environment that value diversity. The National Education Policy NEP 2020 emphasized inclusive education, aiming to provide quality education to all students, regardless of their background, ability, or socio-economic status. Equitable access. NEP advocates for equitable access to equality education, particularly for marginalized groups such as scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, minorities, and children with disabilities. Inclusive infrastructure. The policy recommends building gender sensitive and disability friendly infrastructure, including accessible toilet, ramp, and technologies like sign language. Teacher training. NEP emphasizes teacher training on inclusive pedagogies. Aware of diverse learner need to sensitize the social and cultural barriers. Curricular reform. The policy suggests curricular changes to make education more inclusive and flexible, incorporating local and cultural context and ensure representation of marginalized voice in textbook. Technology integration. NEP 2020 advocated for the digital tool to make learning accessible for differently able students, online learning platform in multiple languages, and remote learning opportunities for children in increasable region. Holistic assessment. The policy introduced reform in assessment method to ensure inclusively emphasize formative assessment. Next. By promoting inclusive education, we can create more equitable and effective learning environment that benefit to all students. The policy cover under the socio-economically disadvantaged group, which is umbrella term covering gender identities, social culture and social economic identities, geographical identities, as well as disabilities. Next. Community participation. NEP emphasizes involving parent, NGO and local communities to promote inclusive education, ensuring education is a shared responsibility and local value and appearance. Overall, NEP 2020 aimed to create an inclusive education system that value diversity, promote equity and improve all students to reach their full potential. In the last, the National Education Policy NEP 2020 emphasized that education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality. I quit my micro teaching topic, that is inclusive education, for the quote of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Education is the most powerful weapon